Good afternoon, dear students. Okay, we'll get started. So we were learning about the orbital dynamics of the satellite communication, and also we had seen two videos, so sample videos of how the satellites are launched, and what are the parameters we need to consider in order to place the satellite in its orbit. Okay, so we have to consider all the mathematical and physics laws for which are collectively called as the orbital dynamics in order to design the do the design calculations to place the satellite in its orbit. Okay, and before that, I just wanted to share some other information to you. That is IIRS ISRO outreach program for college students. They have launched. It's a free courses. That is, the three courses are available for free. It is starting from October 24. Okay, it is starting from October 24. So you can enroll yourself, and this is the website link, that is https elearning.wirs.gov.in/edusat registration/students. Okay, so you can go there and register yourself. You can take up this online course. Three courses are available, which will be quite useful for you, and I hope the certificate will be provided to you, so you can you can take up the course and get the certification. So it will be quite useful for you, and also you can show that for your implant training or professional training, part of professional training courses. Okay, so it is the three free courses are available. It is on October 1st only they have launched. Okay, these three courses till the portal is open for registration. The course commences on October 24th. Okay, the detailed information let me give you at the end of the class. Okay, so we will get started with the today's class about the orbital dynamics. So we were learning about the principles of satellite orbits and the positioning of the satellite in its orbit. Okay, so the satellites were launched vertically. But suppose if the satellites were launched vertically, it will fall back to the earth because of the earth's gravity. Therefore, we must have the forward motion. So it gives both vertical and forward motion. The forward motion produces the inertia, which tends to keep the satellite moving in a straight line. Therefore, the satellite constantly changes its direction from a straight line to a curved line along with the circumference of the Earth's surface, and to rotate with respect to the rotation of the Earth. Okay, so it will be rotating around the circumference. Normally, geosynchronous satellites will be around the equatorial region. So that is going to be the center of the Earth. So it is in a circular, orbit. Okay, so it will take a curved line and it will start rotating. So, and also we know that if the satellite velocity is too high, the satellite will overcome the Earth's pull and it will go and escape into the space. So if it escapes into the space, it cannot come back to the Earth's atmosphere. So probably it takes an escape velocity of approximately 25,000 miles per hour to cause a spacecraft to break the gravitational pull of the Earth and reach its orbit. So the closer the satellite is to Earth, the stronger the effect of gravitational pull. Therefore, the satellites which are being placed in the lower Earth orbits, that is LEO. Normally they call it as LEO. LEO, GEO and MEO. LEO means low Earth orbit satellites. MEO means medium Earth orbit satellites. And GEO means geosynchronous Earth satellite orbits. Okay. So these satellites which are placed in the LEO, that is the lower Earth orbits, they will be very closer to the Earth's gravitational pull, and they will be much affected by that. Therefore, we need to have very fast, the satellite should travel faster whenever it is very closer to the Earth. So that the satellite must travel faster to avoid falling back to Earth. That is why the initial propulsion system that is given when the satellite is being taken off from the Earth's surface, it is very high. So very high propulsion system is given. Okay, very powerful. So lowest practical Earth orbit is approximately 100 miles. The distance, the lowest practical Earth orbit is a LEO height will be approximately 100 miles. That is the distance at which the LEO satellites are placed. So at this height, the satellite speed must be around 17,500 miles per hour and keep the satellite in its orbit. Therefore, the typical distance covered by the satellite will be 23,300 miles. So it will be traveling at a speed of 17,500 miles per hour. So the satellite needs to travel about 6,800 miles per hour to stay in that particular orbit at that particular distance. So at this speed, the satellite rotates approximately rotates about the earth in approximately 24 hours. That is a one rotational time. Okay, one full coverage. Okay, so it takes 24 hours. So almost it will be same as the speed of the earth's rotation. So furthermore, when we talk about the velocity and the gravitational pull, so there are more to a satellite orbit than just the velocity or the gravitational pull. Therefore, the satellite is also affected by the gravitational pull of the moon as well as sun. So the satellite rotates either in a circular orbit or elliptical orbit. I think these are the things we have already discussed. So I'm just giving a quick a recap of whatever we have discussed in the previous class. So this is about what is that circular orbit, and this is about the elliptical orbit. So why they have chosen the circular and elliptical orbit? So these are the geometric, what is the figures. So that would be easy to calculate, for us to calculate how far the satellite is from the Earth station, and how it is going to send the signal, what is the strength of the signal. All these calculations could be done very easily. So that is about the circular orbit and the elliptical orbit. So coming to the orbital plane. So did you all learn about the engineering graphics? Well, you might have learned about the top view, side view, front view, back view, is it not? So same way, the orbital plane is being observed. Okay, so this is the orbital plane. So this is the orbit in which the satellite is going to orbit around the Earth with respect to the geocenter. That is going to be the center of gravity of the Earth. It is going to be the center of the Earth. So this is the orbital plane. So it will be, when we look at the, what is that, front view kind of thing, it is going to be a straight line. Okay. So this is going to be the adjacent view. So it is going to be like this, some kind of a structure like this. Okay. So it is going to pass through the geocenter of the Earth. So this is the orbital plane where the satellite is going to orbit. So this is the straight line. So it is called the edge view. So it is called the edge view. So normally with that position, they will be able to find what is the location of the satellite and other things. This is called to be the edge view of the satellite orbital plane. So this is the orbital plane. Okay. And coming to some other, when we move on further, we need to learn some of the technical terms. So what is a geocenter? So a satellite rotates in an orbit that forms a plane passing through the center of the gravity of the Earth. So that is called to be the geocenter. So what is geocenter? It is going to be the center of the gravity of Earth. So normally it is going to be the center of the Earth. Okay. So this orbital plane, it passes through the center of the gravity of the Earth. That is called to be the geocenter. Okay. And the next important technical term, it is going to be posigrade. So posigrade orbit. So the direction of the satellite rotation is the same as the direction of the Earth's rotation. That is going to be posigrade. So can anyone tell the direction of the Earth's rotation? What is the direction of the rotation of the Earth? Clockwise. What is clockwise? Anti-clockwise? Yes. Ratnasai has said it is clockwise, anti-clockwise. I need the exact answer. Rutveka has said Earth rotates around its axis from west to east. Yes, that is. Akalya has said west to east. Yeah. Ramakrishna has said west to east. Yeah. Normally we don't tell it as clockwise or anti-clockwise. Okay, it is always west to east. The Earth rotates from west to east in this way. That is why we get the sun rises in the east. Is it not? Because the Earth's rotation is from west to east. That is why we get the sun rising in the east. Therefore, if the direction of the satellite is also from west to east, that is the direction of satellite rotation is the same as the Earth rotation, that orbit is called to be cosigrade orbit. Okay, the counterpart, that is called to be the retrograde orbit. So that direction of the satellite rotation is against the direction of the Earth's rotation. That is called to be retrograde orbit. Okay. So the most of the orbits are going to be cosigrade. Most of the satellites that are placed in the orbital plane will be following the cosigrade, which means that it is same as the rotation of the Earth. Okay. In a circular orbit, the speed of rotation is constant. Well, we all know that if it is going to be a perfect circle, that is nothing but a geosynchronous orbit, the speed of rotation is going to be constant. But it is not the same for the elliptical orbit. So the elliptical orbit, the speed changes depending upon the height of the satellite above the Earth's surface. Okay, because the elliptical orbit, you see, we'll have a look at the elliptical orbit, probably this one. This one you see, so this is going to be the, what is that, circular orbit. So the height of the satellite will always be constant from the Earth's surface. So height means the distance of the satellite from the Earth's surface is going to be the height. Whereas in case of elliptical orbit, what happens? It is at lower height, which means it is closer to the Earth's surface, whereas here it is very far away from the Earth's surface. Okay, so it is not the same. Therefore, the speed of the satellite also changes with respect to the height of the satellite from the Earth's surface, which means that the height of the satellite above the Earth. Okay, naturally the speed of the satellite is greater when it is closer to the Earth than when it is far away. So this important point, you should have it in mind. The speed of the satellite is greater when it is very closer to the Earth. And when it is far away from the Earth, the speed will be very slow. So that is how the satellite will be designed. Okay, because why the speed is made very fast when it is coming closer to the Earth means, so that will be affected much by the Earth's gravitational pull. Therefore, the speed will be made high. It will be made to move very fast. Whereas when it is far away from the Earth's surface, it will not be much affected by the gravitational pull, and therefore the speed will obviously be reduced. So that these two important points, we should have it in mind in this slide. That is here, geocenter, which is going to be the center of the Earth's gravity, and that is also going to be the center of the Earth. So all the calculations, this orbital plane and the height of the satellite will be calculated with respect to the geocenter. So this important term, you should have it in mind. And the next one is the cosigrade orbit, which means that the direction of the satellite rotation is the same as the direction of the Earth's rotation. So, and the counterpart, it is retrograde orbit, whereas here the direction of the satellite rotation is against the direction of the Earth's rotation. And the important points here are, the most of the satellites will be in cosigrade orbit, which will be having the same direction of rotation as the Earth's. And in elliptical orbit, in circular orbit, the speed of rotation is constant, whereas in elliptical orbit, the speed of rotation is going to vary. That is, when the satellite is close to the Earth, the speed will be very fast, and that is high, greater. And when the satellite is away from the Earth, the speed is reduced. Okay, so these are the important points that we are having it here in this slide. Let's move on to the next important parameter, satellite height. So in the previous slide, we had talked about the height of the satellite, which means that the distance of the satellite from the Earth's surface. So what is a satellite height? In a circular orbit, the height is simply the distance of the satellite from the Earth, the distance of the satellite, or the height of the satellite from the Earth. So physically, what is the distance of the satellite? So it's going to be the, what is that? Normally, it is going to be the distance of the circular orbit from the Earth's surface. So it is going to be same. However, in all the other geometric calculations, the height is really the distance between the center of the Earth and the satellite. Is it clear? So physically, when we calculate, the height of the satellite is going to be the, what is that? From the Earth's surface, that is the ground. Okay, from the ground to the satellite position, they will be calculating the distance. That is called to be the height of the satellite. But when we go for mathematical calculation with respect to the gravity and other parameters, we need to consider the Earth's radius also. Therefore, normally the height of the satellite is measured from the geocenter of the Earth to the height distance of the satellite. Do you understand my point? Normally it is calculated. So let me show it in that this side here. So normally the height of this is the Earth's surface and this is the satellite. So normally we might observe that the height of the satellite is going to be this distance. But when you go for the mathematical calculations, we should consider the Earth's radius also. So in the previous class, we had discussed about the radius of the Earth also. Well, you all know that. So we need to consider this also. So the satellite height means the height of the satellite above the Earth's surface plus the radius of the Earth. Okay, so this is how we need to consider when we consider the height of the satellite. Okay, where were we? We were doing the geometric calculations. We need to consider the radius of the Earth as well. Okay, so in other words, the distance includes the radius of the Earth, which is going to be generally considered as, what is that? 6,373 kilometers. Therefore, a satellite that is 5,000 miles above the Earth in the circular orbit is, what is that? 3,960. That is, so this is the distance that is being calculated. Okay, so we need to consider the radius of the Earth's curvature also. Okay, so radius of the Earth as well as this distance from the Earth's surface. Okay, so these are the things we need to consider in case of the circular orbit. Okay, so this is the circular orbit, you see. So this is the Earth. Okay, this is the geocenter, which is going to be the center of the Earth, and the radius of the Earth is going to be 3,960 miles, and this is the height above the Earth. So normally the height of the satellite is going to be the whole height from the geocenter to the satellite position. Okay, I will jump. Yes. Yes. Yeah, we were talking about the method for the calculating the satellite height. So we need to consider the radius of the Earth also. Either you can do it in miles or kilometers. Okay, depends upon the overall calculation, whatever you are doing. Understand? Okay, so that was for what is that? Circular orbit. Circular orbit, uniformly it is going to be the same all around. Whereas it is not going to be the same, the height is not going to be the same in case of elliptical orbit. So here we are introducing two important terminologies that is called to, they are called to be apogee and perigee. Apogee and perigee. So when a satellite is in an elliptical orbit, the center of the Earth is the one of the focal points of the ellipse. Is it not? So normally in a circular thing, or what is circular surface or sphere, the focal point will be the center. Whereas in case of ellipse, we'll be having two focal points. Is it not? The same way, whenever the satellites are placed in the elliptical orbit with respect to the Earth, what happens? We have two focal points. One of the focal points will be the center of the Earth. That is, in this case, the distance of the satellite from the Earth varies according to its position. Typically, the 2 points of greater interest are the highest point above the Earth, called to be apogee, and the lowest point is called to be the perigee. You understand? So these apogee and perigee distances typically are measured from the geocenter of the Earth, which is going to be the one of the focal points of the ellipse. You see? So this is the diagrammatic representation of the satellite height in an elliptical orbit. Okay, so this is the Earth. Okay, you understand, this is the Earth and this is the elliptical orbit in which the satellites are getting orbiting. So this is going to be the orbital plane. Okay, so this is going to be one of the focal points of the ellipse, and this is going to be the other focal point of the elliptical orbit. But whenever you are doing calculations, we will be doing with respect to the center of the Earth only. The height will be calculating with respect to the Earth, geocenter. So it is going to be the geocenter. So this geocenter forms one of the focal points of the ellipse. This is going to be the ellipse. So whenever this satellite is rotating in its elliptical orbit, what happens when it comes to this position? This distance is called to be the perigee. The shortest distance when the satellite comes to the closer to the Earth's surface is called to be the perigee. So this height is called to be the perigee. Whereas when it is coming to this position, okay, so in the orbital plane, when it is coming to this position, if the satellite from this focal point, we have to calculate. From the Earth geocenter only we have to calculate. We should not calculate from here. So it's an imaginary focal point. We cannot calculate from the space. Do you understand? So we have to calculate with respect to the geocenter of the Earth and the farthest distance that satellite is in this elliptical orbit from the geocenter of the Earth is called to be the apogee. Do you understand? So this perigee and apogee are two important terminologies. We should have it in mind. Okay, so the shortest distance or the height at which the satellite is very closer to the Earth's surface in the elliptical orbit is called to be the perigee. And the farthest distance which is away from the height, which is away from the far away from the Earth's geocenter is called to be the apogee. So these two calculations are very, very important in case of an elliptical orbit. So most of the satellites which does not require continuous monitoring or continuous support, they will be placed in an elliptical orbit. Whereas many satellites which requires continuous monitoring and continuous support in case of television and other things, they will be placed in the geosynchronous orbit, whereas geosynchronous orbits will be in a circular orbit. You understand? But many satellites which are used for other purposes, they will be in an elliptical orbit. Do you understand? So the two important terminologies in case of elliptical orbit is perigee and apogee. Perigee is the shortest distance when the satellite is very closer to the Earth in an elliptical orbit. Whereas apogee is the farthest distance when the satellite is very far away from the Earth's surface in an elliptical orbit. Okay, so these calculations are very, very important. Okay, so this is one such example of the satellite orbiting in the orbital plane of an elliptical orbit. So this elliptical orbit may not be with respect to the equator of the Earth. So it might be something slanting. So well, you might have seen in this, what is that? In the previous things, you see, this is going to be the equator. Is it not? So this elliptical orbit and other things will not be in the equatorial region. Okay, it might be slope, a kind of slope kind of thing that is being passing through the Earth's curvature. So this is one such animation that represents how the satellite is orbiting in an elliptical orbit with respect to the Earth in the center of the Earth. Do you understand? So it will be kind of slope. So this is going to be the, what is that, orbital plane. This is going to be the orbital plane, and this distance is going to, what is this distance? Can anyone tell? So please, you can unmute or enable chat. Your chat box is enabled. Please, you can post your responses. What is this distance called to be? This distance. This distance. When the satellite is in this position, what is this called to be? Yes. So this farther distance is, the farther distance is apogee. Okay. So these are going to be perigee and apogee. Thank you. Thank you for your responses. Many have responded. Okay. Okay. So that is about the satellite height. So whatever we have learned today, first we learned about what is that? Geocenter, then centigrade, retrograde, then satellite height in the circular orbit as well as elliptical orbit. Next we'll learn about satellite speed. So the speed also is an important parameter that we need to consider. So as I told, we discussed already, the speed varies according to the distance of the satellite from the Earth. So here again comes your perigee and apogee concept in case of what is that, elliptical orbit, and for circular orbit it is going to be the constant. Okay, for circular orbit the speed is going to be constant, but for elliptical orbit the speed varies according to the height. So this is the point already we have discussed. Is lower Earth satellites of about 100 miles in height will have a speed of about 17,500 miles per hour. So this is going to be the average speed for satellites which are orbiting in the lower Earth orbits at a height of about 100 miles from the Earth's surface. So very high satellites such as communication satellites which are approximately 23,000 miles away from the Earth will rotate much slowly and have a typical speed of satellite about neighborhood of what is that 6,800 miles per hour. That is, when they come closer to the Earth, the speed of the satellite will be very greater. This point we have already discussed. Okay, the same thing is being replicated here. Whereas when we move away from the Earth, when we are very far away from the Earth, the satellite speed will be lesser. That is why this much difference is here. It is for the satellites which are very closer to the Earth will have a speed of 17,500 miles per hour, whereas satellites which are very far away will have the speed of 6,800 miles per hour. Okay, so that is about the satellite speed. So next important parameter here it is period. Period of the satellite. So what is the rotational period? We need to calculate. Okay, so this period is the time it takes for a satellite to complete one orbit. So normally for one rotation, full rotation around the Earth. So to complete one orbit, what is the period? So it is also called as the sidereal period. So that also we need to consider. So all these things will be calculated with respect to the height, speed and other parameters also. So the sidereal period uses some external fixed and apparently motionless objects such as sun or star for reference in determining the sidereal period. So these things we cannot calculate as such for a satellite. So we will be calculating with respect to any stationary object. That is called to be the motionless object. Okay, so the reason for using a fixed or reference point is that while the satellite is rotating about the Earth itself is also rotating. Is it not? So that we cannot find. Okay, so if we should know the starting point and end point. Is it not? Only then we can calculate whether we can find whether it has completed one full rotation or not. Okay, but Earth is also rotating along with what is that? Satellite. So we cannot find which is the starting point, which is the end point. Do you understand this my point? Okay, we will not know what is the starting point and what is the end point. So that we will not know whether it has completed one full orbit rotation or not. So always this will be calculated with respect to the position of the sun, the face of the sun. So with respect to the motionless or stationary object, or sometimes they might take if any star is available in the atmosphere which are very closer to the Earth's atmosphere or the position of the satellite, with respect to that star, position of the star, they will calculate the sidereal period. So how long it takes for the movement of the satellite from that particular star as a point and it reaches the next point here. It reaches the star at the next moment. So with that, they will be calculating the period. So the period of the satellite is also called as the sidereal period. Do you understand? So the next parameter here it is satellite period. Okay. So this is one such important parameter. Next, so another method of expressing the time for one orbit is the revolution or synodic period. So we can calculate with respect to the revolution also, revolution of the Earth. So what does revolution means? How long it takes for completing one revolution? How long it takes? What is that? 365 days, is it not? So one revolution is the period of the time that elapses between the successive passes of the satellite over a given meridian of the Earth's longitude. So normally this our Earth is divided into latitude and longitude. What are these called to be? Can anyone tell? What are these latitude and longitude called to be? Your chat box is enabled. You can post your responses there. What are this latitude and longitude called to be? Yes, imaginary lines. What is the longitude? Where does it running from? Where does it running from? Can anyone tell what is the longitude? Meridian. Okay. Where does it running from? Longitude and latitude. What imaginary lines are called to be latitude and what imaginary lines are called to be longitude? Are you there or not, students? Yes, sir. Probably you have enabled unmute. Yeah. Up to down. Don't tell up to down. Which is up, which is down. Yes. Venkatas Srikavya has answered it correctly. Longitude means from North Pole to South Pole. That is from the poles. Okay. Vertical lines running from the poles. North Pole to South Poles are called to be longitudes. Latitudes with respect to the equator. Horizontal lines. Okay, so those are called to be the latitudes. So normally your GPS calculations, locations, everything is calculated with respect to the latitude and longitude, is it not? Okay, yes, very good. Longitude from north to south and latitude from around the equatorial region. Okay, do you understand? Some important terminologies, you know. What are the differences between latitude and longitude? Probably you might have studied in your geography. Am I right? What are the differences between latitude and longitude? Latitudes, latitudes never meet. Okay. Longitudes meet at poles. Okay, that is another answer. Another important. Latitudes are parallel. Okay, longitudes are not parallel. Latitudes from east to west direction. Longitudes from north to south. Okay. Another important. Longitudes or meridians. Longitudes are all of equal length. Am I right? Longitudes running from North Pole to South Pole are all of equal length, whereas latitudes are not of equal length. Whereas it will be quite bigger in the equatorial region. When we move away from the equator to the poles, it will be small circles. They are called to be concentric circles. Is it not? So longitudes will be in the form of vertical lines, whereas latitudes will be in the form of equatorial, what is that? Concentric circles. Okay. When you're taking the information from the Google. Yeah, good that you're using Google. Yeah. So, thank you for your responses. So, this is how we calculate the latitude, longitudinal position. That will be quite interesting for us to locate us on the Earth's surface with respect to the GPS location and other things. Is it not? So, these are the things we need to make use of. So, this, what is that? One revolution is the period of time that elapses between the successive passes of the satellite over a given meridian of the Earth's longitude. So they'll be considering at which position on particular meridian they will be calculating. So which at the position where the satellite is visible. So from that next appearance where it is when it is appearing in that particular meridian. So with that also they might be able to calculate the period of the satellite. Okay, not probably always we cannot calculate with respect to the sign or any other star. Probably most of the times they will be calculating the period of the satellite with respect to the given meridian and what is the first appearance and what is the next consecutive appearance. So with this they will be calculating the satellite period. Normally this period is expressed in hours. So the typical rotational periods range of from about, what is that? 11 by 2 hours for 100 miles height and 24 hours for 22,300 miles height. So this is how it is calculated. So normally it is approximately, they have done a calculation for a satellite at a distance of 100 miles. What happens? It is going to be 11 by 2 hours. Whereas the height, for a height of about 22,300 miles height, it is going to be 24 hours, one full day. Okay, so that is going to be the period of the satellite. Okay, do you understand this point? Okay, so what is the next? So the next is a very big calculation we need to understand. Important parameter, angle of calculation. Probably I'll stop here for today's class. So what are the things we have learned today? Can anyone summarize? Some people are responding in chat. Geocenter, postgrade, retrograde. Yes. Huh? Are you able to hear me, students? Okay, remaining things we'll see in the next class.